Hello everyone, welcome to the Social Club. We've got Troopz and Robbie here, so we thought we'd kick off with a little bit of an Arsenal-themed topic. Arsene Wenger, dead man walking. I, be honest, some of this comes off the back of the result at the weekend. I don't know if you know, Liverpool beat Arsenal. Didn't get to speak to you at the time, Robbie, but we have spoken since. And what I felt at the time watching the game was that there was a very weird atmosphere coming from Arsenal, coming from the players. That was the least competitive I think we've had a game, I think, in a very, very long time. 40 minutes odd when our second goal goes in. Wenger out banner comes out amongst the Arsenal fans.
Did it come out that soon? I think 40 minutes.
Yeah. Disappeared and then came back out again when the third goal went in. So, I mean, I know even you've seemed to be reaching your limits. I think you've been quite on the fence for a lot of time. From the outside looking in, and I don't know if it's true from the inside as well, it does feel like even the people who are the most staunch defenders of Arsene Wenger are kind of running out of time for the guy.
No, some of the staunch defenders, as we had a little debate on Arsenal Fan TV last night, are still behind him, to be honest. But yeah,
they're getting less and less.
They are getting less and less. I remember, I think last year when we did one of these shows and you guys asked me, and I said to you, I felt about 70% of fans would still want Wenger to stay. That was last year. And I said that, maybe they're not vocal. They're not like as vocal as, say, somebody like Troopz. He's always sort of wanted Wenger out. But about 70% of people, I'd say, 60 to 70% of people wanted him to stay last year. This year, at the moment, it's the other way round. I'd say 70, maybe even 80%. Because even a lot of people that you speak to, they're like, time's up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told this story a couple of times that I was on the plane the other day going to Bayern Munich, and we was on the plane, and there was a fan in the morning as we was heading out to the game who said to me, he goes, Robbie, why are you guys so negative about Arsene Wenger? We need to get behind him, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. I said, listen, come and say something after the game on the channel. Talk up for Arsene Wenger because, there's not been enough people doing that recently. Yeah. And he said, yeah, I definitely will. After the game, I didn't see him. When I got back on the plane, I saw him and I said, well, where were you? And he said, it's time for him to go. He goes, I've had enough now. He goes, I've had enough, it's time for him to go. So it's definitely, it's turned, I think. I think the only person who hasn't really seems to realise it is Arsene Wenger. But Arsene Wenger himself, I think he still feels that he can soldier on. But it's becoming so. I mean, like you said, the game the other day. I mean, leaving out Alexis Sanchez, and I think that's why the mood was like that. Before the game, when I said to Troopz that I've just seen the team, Sanchez is not in it. He was in disbelief. I was in disbelief. I saw a Liverpool fan who came up to me. We was having a chat. I said to him that Alexis Sanchez weren't in the team, and he just said, "Happy days, lad, happy days." You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. I mean,
from Afghanistan.
It's a Scouser. That's what you lot say, lad.
Exactly.
You say lad after everything, don't you?
Yeah.
No, but it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw in the second half when Sanchez came on, all of a sudden we carried a totally different threat. Liverpool was scared of Sanchez. But the game in the Premier League, when you're 2-0 down, that's it. You're coming back. It's over.
It's obviously, I think it's fair to say you've been quite public in your opinion on this kind of thing, one way or the other. Yeah. I think we could all pretty much say it's Wenger out, isn't it? But,
100%.
Well, I mean, you obviously still speak to a lot of Arsenal fans. You've got your own channel, you're interacting with people. I think it's fair to say, like, the guys, not everyone is like Wenger out, like it's something that needs to happen immediately. But there's definitely, if I say, it feels like there's a movement towards. There's a lot more of the people who've kind of just become a bit more resigned to it. It doesn't take everyone having to be pitchforks at the game, but the feeling has definitely almost entirely swung towards the Wenger out.
Yeah, it has, man, and especially since the Bayern game, that's when a lot of people realise that this time it's done. He's finished. He's done. There's no passion in this team no more. You understand? Like, the Invincible team, if they lost the game, they go down fighting.
Yeah.
And if they lost the game like a 5-1 at Bayern Munich, you know it's a one-off. You know it wouldn't happen on a regular occurrence. With this team, you can just see more of these beatings occurring through the whole season. Mm-hmm. And it's a jolting because when you go into a big game, I can't remember the last time me and Rob's gone to a big game and gone there confident.
Yeah.
And for a club at Arsenal, that's disgusting. And it's all because of him. He can't instill the right mentality into the team. No one believes in him. Sanchez, apparently him and Sanchez are rowing. Sanchez might respect him, but even Sanchez deep down knows that this ain't working with this guy. It's not working. And it can't continue because it's been 13 years no league title. It's been 13 years since we were competitive. We ain't been competitive. Yeah, we won 2 FA Cups, but I don't care about the FA Cup. That's nothing to me. Yeah. I want the big trophy. I want a trophy with the ears. You know what I mean? I don't want these little idiot trophies. I'm not even saying that we have to win every game, but I want to compete in every game. I want us to be competitive. And right now, we're not competitive. Yeah. And it's down to Wenger. Yeah. There's no other thing.
What about, I mean, Ped, is there any case to be made on the Arsene Wenger side? I know there was the football phone-ins after the game. I had Liverpool fans phoning up in defence of Arsene Wenger and saying the way he was being treated was disgusting. And I'll be perfectly honest, like, I don't agree. I think for a guy who's been there for that long, I think it's probably because he's digging his heels in as much as anything else. I think if everyone knew he was going in the season, I think it might ease off. But I don't like the way that he's being talked about and treated about for being there that long. But what about yourself?
No, it doesn't. For me, he's finished. He's been finished for at least 3 years. And last season, there was so many comparisons with Martinez for me when I see with Wenger, because Martinez was like a miniature version of him, and I sort of got the feeling of what Arsenal fans must have been feeling, because it was all this pretty football, but it didn't go anywhere, and there was no heart and there was no leaders. And I see the same with Arsenal, and I see some of the players, and I just think to myself, some of them they're like morph into each other, Arsenal players, and I don't mean that in the wrong way. They're all the same kind of type of players, and I think in football teams you need a mix, and you need nasty little people, you need horrible people, and you need people who are going to put themselves about and represent the fans and the shirt, and Arsenal don't seem to have that. But he seems to be winding people up as well and doing a very good job of it. He just laughs off everything, and that would wind me up. Like last season, every time I see Martinez sort of smile at the camera and say something nice, I just wanted to punch the telly in. Not him, because he's a wonderful man. And he smelled really nice.
Really small as well.
Yeah. I mean, Martinez smelled really nice. I could never get past that.
You smell great.
I could never get past that, do you know what I mean? You go to punch him and I would want to just snuggle in his neck. But no, he's like winding people up, and this anger's reaching up. Like, it's got to the point now where, you, like you were saying, you're not angry anymore. You're just like... But the biggest problem for me, and we might be getting the benefit of it, is that Arsenal just seem rudderless at the top as well. And you can say that more than me.
Listen, what you just said there is the absolute... That is what is wrong with Arsenal. You can't even blame Arsene Wenger in this. If he's going through a bad time, the people above him, the people who are supposed to be in charge, the board, they're weak. It's
but
almost as if
as well.
But it's almost as if in everything. That's why I feel sorry for Arsene Wenger in a way. Is that they leave him to deal with everything. Yeah. He has to deal with all this flack. None of them come out and say anything, right? None of them are making a decisive decision. It's basically, Arsene, let us know if you want to sign or not. What business or club runs like that? The people who are in charge should be looking at it and saying, making a decision either way. We've decided that he's going for a bad patch, but he's our man, he's staying. And it'd be very easy for them to do this, because remember, his contract runs out at the end of the season. Yeah. Arsene, we're not sacking you, but we've decided not to renew your deal. Yeah. You've been great service to the club, but we decided that at the end of the season we're going to go in there. But nobody, and that's why, you know what, in a way I respect those guys at Leicester, right? Whether you agreed with what they did or not, Ranieri, he had a lot of love from the fans and from the general public, right? And from the board as well, because he brought something to them that they've never ever done in their lifetime and may never ever do again. And those guys sat down, and it must have taken them days. They must have sat down and said, we're going to have to make a decision here. Do we keep him or do we get rid of him? And they've made a difficult decision. But our lot, they just sit around and they just hide away from the fans. Yeah. They let Wenger have to deal with. There's a protest tomorrow at the Bayern Munich game. Really? The fans marching on the stadium, and that will all be.
A bit of atmosphere at least.
That will all be directed again at Arsene Wenger. Yeah. It's not right.
Barca's the one though.
Who's in charge?
Look at Barca. They're top of the league. And their managers just fell on the sword.
But here's the thing about the Arsenal
Did he fall on
situation,
his
though.
sword?
No, exactly. He has, though, hasn't he? He hasn't.
Yeah, but has he really?
No, but
Has he
what I'm
been
saying
made
is,
to fall on his sword?
After that defeat against PSG, they basically said to him, that's not acceptable
but that's
for a
what I mean,
Barcelona
Rob. They've done
team.
it the right way, haven't they?
They have,
They've done it the right
But
way.
here's the problem Arsenal have got, though, is that Arsenal are forever on that knife edge, and because, look, we make the Arsenal fourth joke, ha, 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 ha. You're not always fourth. You are always consistently in the Champions League, and that should be commended because there's a lot of clubs, we're one of them, we would have loved to have had a bit of consistency in the last decade. But the problem is because what you could probably do with as a fan base is them to make that decision, go, listen, Arsenal, look, I'm going to step down at the end of the season, it's been a great ride, blah, blah, blah. Because at least you can go,
But he
okay,
shouldn't-
but
that
sorry,
should be him who
well,
said it.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
well,
the
so-
problem you've got is
Now,
that...
but the board don't care because the board, what they want Wenger to achieve, he's achieving it, fam. He's getting them top 4 year in, year out, blood. My man don't care.
Yeah.
Kroenke don't care. Gazidis don't care. Keswick don't care.
Well, this is the problem.
And they don't know
because
football as well.
Yeah, but if Wenger, that's the problem.
So they just
because
think,
if Wenger
top four,
says
why are
he's
you
going...
moaning? We're in the Champions League. Why are you moaning?
Yeah.
They don't
No,
they
it's
don't want
true.
the trophies. They want the money.
Come on, the Usman off.
I know. But this is
And,
what...
look, and that's the worst thing now. They got the
probably end
guy.
up with you lot.
They got the guy that's at our club who has more money than Abramovich.
Yeah.
And he's going to end up buying Everton. And then they'll probably jump above us. It's just, hey, it's
Not saying anything. Not saying
turmoil
anything.
right
Yeah,
now.
but this is the point about the Ranieri thing is that you can look at it and say they were probably going down if they'd stuck out with it. They've got to take a gamble. Arsenal will probably finish top 4, but let's say, and then I don't think they would pull the.
No, but the whole thing
I don't
about-
think they would pull the trigger before the end of the season. But even if they said, right, look, he's going at the end of the season. If there's a switch off from the players or anyone because they go, or whatever, and Arsenal slip out of the top 4, this is the thing about Wenger is it's worth just riding it out because
about,
he will
no,
finish in the top 4.
It's not about whether that decision turns out to be the right one or the wrong. It's about making the decision.
Yeah.
Nobody at the moment at Arsenal is coming out and making a decision on Arsene Wenger's future.
Yeah.
They've basically said, there's a contract on the table for you. Let us know if you're going to sign it.
And what kind of thing's that?
And then we're just tottering along. What business? Would Barcelona do that? Would Real Madrid, would Juventus, would Bayern Munich, the club that when we moved into the stadium, we were told that's who we're going to be like in 10 years' time? Would they do that? Would Man United do that? Would you guys do that? It's ridiculous.
Well, I know
It should not be left down. Even though he's a legend at the club, he's a great manager, he's been there for 20 years, he's always been consistent, always got us in the Champions League, he's won things, we're going to miss him when he goes. I don't care what no one says, but these decisions should not be down to him.
Here's the question then. With bearing in mind this toward the end of the season, how does this and this atmosphere around it, how does this impact Arsenal for the rest of the season? Because look, barring one of the greatest miracles in the history of football, you're going out of the Champions League.
Paperback, by the way.
I know, I was going to say, I do actually need that. It was a great point made and a fantastic use of props, but I do need that. But here's the thing, how is there a chance that this build-up of negativity, because if Arsenal lose a couple of games, you're not going to stop having that opinion. You know what I mean?
If
And
we
Arsenal,
win-
and
if
that's
we
only
win,
going to
that's
get
still not
louder.
enough.
Well, exactly. But these are only going to get louder and louder. It's going to become harder to ignore. If you're already protesting in the ground now, where does that go between now and the end of the season?
I think, Paul, if they came out, say for instance they came out and said that he was leaving at the end of the season, I think every fan would then put their differences aside and get
definitely.
behind him
Definitely.
from now to the end of the season, because they look at it and they say, you know what, it's not even about results now. This is about seeing off a legend and seeing him off in style. So I think they would get behind him. If they said he was staying, there'll be fans angry. But I still feel that after a while, even if you said he was staying and he signed a new 2-year deal, right? What's the point? You know you're not going nowhere. So you then have to again, even if you're angry, say, right, well, you know what, I don't want this guy, but I'm going to get behind the team. No, you're going to get Troopz.
Now, I back the team, I do, but I don't back the manager.
So this is what I'm saying. To me, somebody should be coming out and saying something.
Like I said on Also Fan TV that if he signs a new deal, I'll stop coming. That's not gonna happen. We all know. I will still go with that ham roll on the touchline because it's Arsenal. I'm not there for him. I'm here for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm not even the players like this. There's no
But
players that don't rate.
would you still be vocal in the?
No, but if he signs a 2-year deal, what's the point of me being vocal? You got a 2-year deal. I can be Wenger out, but I don't have to voice it. Everyone knows my opinions. If they give him a new deal, there's no point me saying Wenger out, getting banners out with DT because he's got a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
But my views will not change.
Okay.
That's why as I said, somebody who's running this club.
Can I ask?
Can I just ask one question?
Go
What numbers are you expecting tomorrow for this protest?
I'm not going to say it's not going to be thousands of people.
Well, no, I don't expect us to be, but I think that is a big thing. We did that last
Probably
season.
be a couple hundred.
Yeah, a
if
couple
that.
hundred.
But we did that last season with Martinez, and we stayed in the ground, and the new owner seen us doing it, and I think that might have been when the penny dropped. That people had
It's actually leading to
we had one last year.
Actually.
We had one
New
last
owners,
year, but
that's
it
the
flopped.
difference.
Yeah.
New
Well, yeah.
owners.
But
Maybe
still,
if it had been your original Ken Wright, just on his own, he might have still, waited. That's what I'm saying with these guys, right? I mean, those owners, even if it was they were waiting in the ground, they'd probably be gone anyway.
Yeah. I think money, at the end of the day, I think sometimes money talks, though. I mean, like if he signs a contract, I'd stop buying things in the ground, things like that. I know that sounds petty, but I did that a couple of years ago when we got a new stupid badge, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm not buying anything with this badge on. I don't agree with it.
Because it looked like an S&M.
Because it looked like it had been made for fucking a toy shop or something. It was awful. Yeah. Fisher Price badge. So I went, I'm not going to buy anything. That was my protest. I'm going to go to the game, obviously, but that was my protest. Yeah. So because that's all he cared about, money.
Can I ask one question then? Do you feel that Arsenal Fan TV and the platform that you provided, do you think this has contributed any towards the situation where Wenger's in?
What? Mental state.
Just having the what I mean is having the anti-Wenger out sentiment being so much more public than it would be otherwise. Do you feel that's had any impact?
I think even if Arsenal Fan TV was not there, there would still be, I remember when we very first came on air on Arsenal Fan TV, when we first started, there was protests there. I remember that was one of the first things we covered. The Black Scarf Movement did a protest march. And I remember us covering that. That was about 3 months into us doing Arsenal Fan TV. So it's been around long before we've been around. All right, it gets seen more now because of Arsenal Fan TV. I mean, and, we are not anti Arsene Wenger on Arsenal Fan TV. We're just a platform. So if the mood of the fans is how it is at the moment, it'll be reflected. If the mood of the fans is that everybody's behind it, it'll be reflected as well. I mean, but I have to say at the moment, I just feel that, the board need to be stronger at the moment. I kind of feel sorry for Arsene Wenger in a way because he's having to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
But that's the role he's crafted for himself.
No,
isn't
but
it?
what
That's
other managers?
Going to happen,
Yeah, well, it's not. I just don't understand it. Yeah. Who is anybody? Is anyone up there? I mean, Stan Kroenke, the owner, he's in the States. Your owner's from the States, but I see him at lots of games.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I've seen it. Well, I've seen him a lot more than what I've seen.
Fucking hell. Is he actually invisible?
Yeah, but
guy? Because it's the only way
also,
you can see your owner less than we see our owner.
No. I've seen your owner, and I've seen your owner come vocal. Remember the thing with Suarez?
Don't get me wrong. He sends out the odd troll and tweet, mainly to Arsenal.
Stan Kroenke, you don't hear nothing.
No.
His nickname at Arsenal is Silent Stan. You never hear anything from him. I've even been to board meetings where he's been there.
Sounds like a speaking out against child abuse mascot, doesn't he? Don't say that. No, that says.
The only problem is the Nancy Wenger.
Yeah. No, listen. I'm interested to know, obviously, people watching, be a lot of Arsenal fans watching this as well, and how they feel like not making a decision and not making it clear where the future lies, how that could impact Arsenal between now and the end of the season. Because at the minute, top four is no guarantee for any of the teams between second and seventh.
Top four, Paul, right now for Arsenal fans kind of means nothing. Top four is very important for the club.
Oh God, come back to me in 5 years' time when you've been in the Europa League mire.
Top four is very important for the club, obviously. Top four is important for buying players and that, but the mood of the fans currently, they don't really care about no top four. They don't even care about FA Cup. All they care about is what's happening with our club.
Of course. Well, if you agree with Robbie, do let us know in the comments below. You can, of course, subscribe to the channels of the wonderful people present. Subscribe to Troopz, Toffee TV, Arsenal Fan TV, and if you want Redmen TV as well, by clicking the icons. Stay tuned. Later this week, Social Club is on a Friday. We're looking at the best right winger in Premier League history.